You have been trained to feel guilty for wanting more, for wanting space, for wanting to win. They call it selfishness, so you will stay small. So you will keep donating your time to people who would never donate theirs to you. So you will keep watering everyone else's garden while your own land turns to dust. Look at the pattern. The moment you say no, they act wounded. The moment you protect your energy, they call you cold. The moment you stop explaining yourself, they call you arrogant. That is not morality. That is control. They are not offended by your selfishness. They are offended that their access to you has expired. And here is the part nobody says out loud. The world does not reward sacrifice. It consumes it. Your generosity becomes a contract. Your kindness becomes a weakness. Your availability becomes a leash. Putting yourself first is not cruelty. It is self-defense. It is the first act of sovereignty. Because if you do not choose yourself, someone else will choose for you, and they will choose what benefits them. In this video, you are going to learn why selfishness is not a flaw, but a weapon. Not the childish kind, where you take from others. The disciplined kind, where you stop bleeding for people who clap when you suffer. You will learn the 8 chapters of putting yourself first, without apologizing, without announcing it, without turning it into a speech. You will learn how to protect your time like money, how to protect your attention like territory, and how to make your boundaries feel final without ever raising your voice. Because the truth is simple. The person who cares about you the most must be you. Not because you are special, because nobody else is obligated to carry your life. And once you accept that, you stop begging for fairness. You start building leverage. By the end, you will know how to become harder to use, harder to guilt, and impossible to manipulate. And you will still look calm while you do it. Let's begin. Selfishness has a bad reputation because most people confuse it with theft. They picture a person who takes, lies, steps on others, and calls it ambition. That is not what we're building. Real selfishness is precision. It is deciding your life is not a public resource. It is treating your time like blood, your attention like a loaded gun, and your peace like a locked door. It is refusing to negotiate with anyone who benefits from your confusion. Here is the rule underneath everything. Whoever you put first becomes your ruler. If you put other people first, you live under their moods, their emergencies, their opinions, their shifting standards. You become a servant with a smile, and the more you give, the more they feel entitled to your giving. Not because they are evil, because humans adapt to whatever you tolerate. Putting yourself first is not about becoming heartless, it is about becoming scarce. Scarcity creates respect. Scarcity creates value. Scarcity forces people to interact with you properly, or not at all. This video is 8 chapters, not about being cruel, but about reclaiming your position. How to stop volunteering for roles you never auditioned for. How to stop explaining yourself like you're on trial. How to stop being the solution to problems you didn't create. You will still help when you choose to, but it will be choice, not compulsion. Strategy, not guilt. And once you feel that difference in your body, you will never go back. Chapter 1. Stop advertising your pain. The fastest way to become a communal property is to narrate your struggle. The moment you explain how tired you are, how overwhelmed you are, how much you've been carrying, you hand people a map to your weak points. Not because they are monsters, because information creates opportunity. Some will use it for sympathy, some will use it for leverage. Some will use it to test how much more they can demand. They will dress it up as concern, but notice the pattern. After they learn your limits, they keep walking you right up to the edge. Putting yourself first begins with silence. Silence is not loneliness. Silence is insulation. When you stop announcing what hurts, you remove the invitation for others to comment on it, judge it, minimize it, or claim it. You also remove the temptation to keep reliving it just to feel seen. Visibility is addictive. It turns your suffering into a personality. Selfishness is refusing to turn your life into a public courtroom. Here's what changes when you stop advertising your pain. People can't argue with your reasons. because you don't give them any. They can't negotiate your boundaries because they don't know what they're built on. They can't guilt you with your own confession because you never gave them the words to repeat back at you. This is the first chapter because it's the first leak. If you want to put yourself first, stop giving your enemies and your friends the same access. You don't need to be rude. You don't need to disappear. You simply stop explaining. When you feel the urge to overshare, do this instead. Pause. Let the discomfort sit. Then give a clean sentence that ends the conversation. I can't. Not today. I'm not available. No story. No justification. No emotional essay. A locked door does not argue with the person outside. It stays closed. Chapter 2. The world pays for boundaries, not sacrifices. Sacrifice is a currency that never gets refunded. You think you're building love by always being there. You think you're building loyalty by always saying yes. But what you are really building is a pattern, and patterns become expectations. Expectations become entitlement. Then one day you finally say no, and they look at you like you committed a crime. That is the trap. People don't respect what you give for free. They adapt to it. They normalize it. They start pricing you at zero. The more you overextend, the more invisible your effort becomes. Your sacrifices don't make you valuable. They make you predictable. And predictable people are easy to use. Putting yourself first means you stop confusing exhaustion with virtue. Boundaries are not walls. They're prices. A price forces a decision. A price separates the serious from the casual. A price filters parasites from partners. When you make your time expensive, you don't have to beg for respect. You force it, because now access to you has a cost, and cost creates consideration. Watch what happens when you stop donating your schedule. They will suddenly discover other solutions. They will suddenly stop needing to you so much. Not because you became cruel, but because they were never helpless. They were comfortable. They were outsourcing effort onto you. This chapter is about one brutal adjustment. Stop answering everything immediately. When you answer right away, you train people to treat you like a service desk. You train them that their urgency is your responsibility. And the truth is, most urgent messages are just impatience wearing a mask. Delay is a boundary that looks polite. I'll get back to you later. Let me check my schedule. I'll let you know. Those 3 sentences can save you years of unpaid labor. Here's the selfishness. You decide first. You consult yourself before you consult the room. You don't rush to prove you're reliable. You let people experience that you have a life that does not orbit their needs. If they get angry at a boundary, that boundary was necessary. If they punish you for having limits, they were buying you with convenience. And once the convenience is gone, so is the illusion of care. Good. Let them leave. The people who deserve you will adjust. The people who used you will complain. Chapter 3. Choose your priorities before people choose them for you. Most people don't ruin their lives with one big mistake. They ruin it with small agreements. Tiny yeses, tiny favors, tiny detours. And then they wake up one day, living a schedule that belongs to everyone except them. If you don't decide what matters most, you become a convenient landfill for other people's priorities. That is why putting yourself first is not an attitude. It is an order. You need a hierarchy, not a mood, a hierarchy. Because when someone calls you, texts you, guilt trips you, or suddenly needs you, they are not asking for help. They are offering you a trade. Your focus for their relief, your time for their comfort, your energy for their peace. And if you don't know what your life is for, you will accept every trade just to avoid conflict. Here is the hard truth. You cannot protect what you have not named. Your goals should have names. Your health should have a name. Your craft should have a name. Your money should have a name. Your sanity should have a name. If it's vague, it will be stolen. If it's clear, it becomes non-negotiable. Selfish people don't get distracted easily because they already decided what wins. So do this. Start treating your priorities like appointments with a powerful person, because they are. The powerful person is future you, the one who either thanks you or curses you. When someone asks you for time, stop answering with emotion. Answer with structure. I already have something scheduled. I can't commit to that. That doesn't work for me. And then you stop talking. Notice what's happening. You are not arguing about the request. You are honoring the order. People will test you here. They will try to downgrade your priorities. Come on, it'll only take 5 minutes. You can do that later. You're being dramatic. That's the sound of someone trying to become your calendar. 5 minutes is never 5 minutes. It is the message that your time is public. It is the crack in the door. And once the door is cracked, they will push. Putting yourself first means you become hard to reroute. You don't need to be loud. You don't need to be mean. You just need to be consistent. Because consistency is what turns a boundary into a reputation. And once you have that reputation, people stop asking you to abandon yourself. They start adjusting their expectations, or they disappear. Either outcome is a win. Chapter 4. Kindness without standards is just consent. Most people think they are good because they tolerate everything. They confuse patience with character. They confuse forgiveness with intelligence. They confuse empathy with obligation. And then they act shocked when they are surrounded by disrespect. Here is the ugly truth. If you are kind to everyone, you are kind to predators too. They don't experience your kindness as love. They experience it as permission. They learn that you will absorb the consequences for them. You will clean up the mess. You will take the hit. You will stay soft while they stay selfish. That is not compassion. That is surrender. Putting yourself first means your kindness gets standards. Standards are not rules you announce. Standards are rules you enforce. You don't have to threaten. You don't have to lecture. You don't have to prove you're serious. You simply move differently the moment someone shows you who they are. If someone disrespects you, you reduce access. If someone drains you, you reduce proximity. If someone lies, you reduce trust. Not with drama, with silence, with distance, with consequence. This is how selfishness becomes clean. Because the people who exploit you rely on one thing: your fear of being seen as the bad guy. They know you want to look generous. They know you want to look understanding. So they push. Then they push again. Then they take the whole arm and call it friendship. Your job is to remove the reward. Stop being the person who stays no matter what. A selfish person does not beg for basic decency. They don't negotiate their dignity. They don't hold meetings about respect. They observe. They decide. They act. And the most powerful part is this: you don't need to explain your standards to someone who benefits from you not having them. You just enforce. I'm not comfortable with that. That doesn't work for me. We're not doing that. Short sentences. Closed doors. When they ask why, you don't get pulled into trial mode. You don't volunteer evidence. You don't tell your whole childhood story to justify a boundary. You repeat yourself once, then you exit. Because standards are not something you debate. They are something you live. And once you live them long enough, the world reorganizes around you. Some people will call you cold. Good. Cold things don't get handled carelessly. Chapter 5. Stop negotiating with guilt. Guilt is the cheapest chain. It doesn't need handcuffs. It doesn't need threats. It just needs a soft person who wants to be seen as good. And that is why guilt is the favorite weapon of weak people. They can't force you, so they try to make you feel like a monster for refusing. They don't ask for your help. They invoice your conscience. They sigh. They hint. They remind you of what they once did for you. They mention how nobody else cares. They make you the villain in a story where they never have to grow up. And if you fall for it, you will live your entire life paying emotional taxes to people who contribute nothing but need. Putting yourself first starts the moment you recognize this pattern. Guilt is not guidance. It is manipulation, disguised as morality. Real morality doesn't demand self-erasure. Real love doesn't require you to abandon yourself to prove it's real. If someone needs you to suffer in order to feel safe, they don't love you, they own you. Here is the selfish move. You stop answering guilt with explanation, because explanation is oxygen. Explanation invites debate. Debate invites them to keep pushing until you fold. They are not trying to understand you. They are trying to exhaust you. So you give them a clean refusal and you let the discomfort exist. No, I can't. No, that won't work. No, then silence. If they escalate, you do not escalate with them. You become boring. You become repetitive. You become final. I understand. I still can't. I'm not changing my mind. You are not responsible for how someone reacts to your boundary. You are responsible for keeping it. This chapter is where most people fail because they want a clean exit. They want to say no and still be loved in the same way. They want to be respected without being resented. That is a fantasy. When you start putting yourself first, some people will punish you. That punishment is information. It tells you they were never attached to you. They were attached to what they could extract from you. Let them sulk. Let them talk. Let them withdraw. A selfish person doesn't chase approval after setting a boundary. They let the new reality settle like concrete, and once it hardens, the guilt stops working. Because guilt only works on people who still think they need permission to belong to themselves. Chapter 6. Help people in a way that keeps you powerful. There is a difference between being supportive and being used. Support is a choice. Use is a pattern. The problem is, most people help in the weakest way possible. They give time they don't have, money they can't spare, emotional labor they never get paid back for. They become the emergency contact for adults who refuse to become competent. And the more you rescue someone, the more you train them to stay in the water. Putting yourself first doesn't mean you stop helping. It means you stop helping in ways that shrink you. Here's the rule. Never help in a way that makes you smaller than the person you're helping. Because once you start bleeding for them, your help becomes a leash around your own neck. They start expecting it, then they start demanding it, then they start resenting you when you finally get tired. A selfish person helps from a position of control. They set terms, they set limits, they choose the format. I can help for 30 minutes. I can review it once. I can point you to a resource. I can't do it for you. That last line is the line that separates the strong from the exploitable. Notice how clean it is. No insult, no lecture, no moral speech, just a boundary that forces them to carry their share. Because if you solve someone's life for them, you become responsible for it. And responsibility without authority is slavery. This chapter also exposes a hidden addiction. Some people help because they want to be needed. They confuse being needed with being valued. So they keep saving, keep fixing, keep overextending, because the moment they stop, they fear they will be forgotten. But being needed is not power. It's dependency. Power is being chosen, not required. So when you help in a way that increases respect, not dependence. Help in a way that requires effort from them too. Give guidance, not full solutions. Give access, not ownership. Give support, not your spine. If they get angry that you won't carry them, that tells you everything. They weren't looking for help. They were looking for a host. And the selfish move is this. You refuse to become one. Chapter 7. Build a life that doesn't require permission. Most people aren't trapped by chains. They're trapped by dependencies. They can't say no because they need the paycheck. They can't walk away because they need the approval. They can't set boundaries because they need the connection. They can't be selfish because they built a life where selfishness feels dangerous. So they stay polite, they stay available, they stay in the cage and call it maturity. Putting yourself first is not a mindset. It is infrastructure. You don't become free by repeating affirmations. You become free by reducing the number of people who can punish you. That means you start building quiet options. Options in money, options in skills, options in relationships, options in location, options in identity. Because when you have options, you don't negotiate with threats. When someone tries to control you with withdrawal, you don't panic. When someone tries to control you with guilt, you don't fold. When someone tries to control you with fear, you don't obey. Why? Because you can leave. This is what selfishness really is. The ability to exit. And the ability to exit is the root of all respect. So you start asking a different question every time you feel pressured. If I say no, what do I lose? Then you build a system where the answer is, not my life. You save, you invest, You learn, you expand your competence, you build a network that isn't one person. You stop letting your entire emotional world sit in one fragile basket. Most people call this paranoia. It isn't. It's foresight. Because the people who demand you put them first usually do it because they know they are a pillar in your structure. And they like that leverage. They like that you can't breathe without their approval. Chapter 7 is where you quietly take that leverage back. You stop relying on one job. You stop relying on one friend group. You stop relying on one person's validation to feel alive. You build a life where your boundaries have teeth. And once your boundaries have teeth, you don't have to bite often. People sense it. They feel it in the way you don't rush. They feel it in the way you don't beg. They feel it in the way you can smile and still walk away. That is selfishness, not taking from others, not stepping on people, just refusing to need them. Chapter 8. Become your own first loyalty. Here is the final betrayal most people never notice. They protect everyone else's feelings before they protect their own future. They don't want to disappoint. They don't want to look selfish. They don't want to be judged. So they keep compromising, even when the compromise is killing their momentum. And they call it being a good person. But a good person with no loyalty to themselves becomes a tool. Chapter 8 is where you end that. You stop asking, what will they think? You start asking, what will this cost me? Because cost is the only honest question. Every time you abandon yourself, you pay a price. You pay in resentment. You pay in fatigue. You pay in lost years. You pay in a quiet hatred you try to hide behind politeness. And the people you sacrificed for rarely even notice. So you make a new oath. Your first loyalty is to your health. Your first loyalty is to your mission. Your first loyalty is to your stability. Your first loyalty is to your peace. Not because you are superior, because you are responsible for your life in a way nobody else is. And once you accept that, your behavior changes in a way people can feel. You stop promising things to be liked. You stop volunteering to be used. You stop over-explaining. You stop asking for permission to choose yourself. You start moving like someone who expects their own respect. There's a simple test for every request, every relationship, every obligation. Does this strengthen me or shrink me? If it strengthens you, engage. If it shrinks you, decline. If you're not sure, delay. This is selfishness with discipline, not impulse, not arrogance, discipline. And here is the final detail. When you put yourself first, you don't need to announce it. You don't need to threaten anyone with your boundaries. You don't need to call people out and perform righteousness. You simply become less available to the things that drain you. You become more loyal to the things that build you, and the world adjusts. Some people will respect you more. Some people will hate you. Some people will leave. Let them. The ones who stay will be the ones who can love you without owning you. And that is the only kind of love worth keeping. Putting yourself first is not becoming cruel. It's becoming unavailable to manipulation. It starts when you stop narrating your wounds like you owe the world an explanation. Silence removes handles. The less they know about what breaks you, the less they can pull on it. Then you stop donating your time like it's infinite. You make access expensive, not with threats, but with calm delay and clean limits. You respond slower, you decide first. You stop letting someone else's urgency hijack your day. Next, you stop living on improvisation. You choose what matters before the room chooses for you. Your priorities become fixed points. When people try to drag you off course, you don't argue. You don't justify. You simply don't move. And you stop confusing kindness with tolerance. Kindness without standards is permission. So you let consequences do the talking. Less access, less proximity, less trust, not dramatic, not emotional, just a quiet downgrade that teaches people your life is not a free-for-all. Then you kill the oldest weapon, guilt. You stop negotiating with it. You stop explaining yourself like you're on trial. A boundary doesn't need a speech. It needs repetition. It needs finality. And when someone punishes you for having limits, you treat that punishment as evidence, not tragedy. Even when you help, you stop helping in ways that weaken you. You don't rescue. You don't carry. You assist in a way that keeps you in control and forces effort from the other side, because responsibility without authority turns into resentment. And finally, you build a life that makes your boundaries real. Options, skills, stability, independence, the ability to exit. That's what makes you untouchable. That's what makes no feel natural instead of terrifying. This is the virtue of selfishness. You don't take from people. You stop letting them take from you. Putting yourself first will cost you. Not money, not effort. People, some will vanish the moment you stop being convenient. Some will turn cold the moment you stop being controllable. Some will call you selfish, not because you changed, but because they lost privileges they never earned. Let that happen, because the version of you they liked was the version that was easy to move, easy to guilt, easy to recruit into their chaos. They didn't love your kindness. They loved your compliance. They didn't admire your loyalty. They enjoyed your availability. This is the line you cross when you put yourself first. You stop being a public resource. You stop being the emotional dumpster for other people's bad decisions. You stop being the unpaid employee in relationships that never promote you. And it will feel strange at first, because peace feels unfamiliar when you grew up in constant negotiation. You will reach for your old habits. You will feel the itch to explain, to fix, to smooth it over. Don't let the discomfort teach you something. It teaches you where your freedom begins. Because the moment you can disappoint people without collapsing, you become dangerous. Not loud, dangerous. Quiet, dangerous. The kind that can't be controlled with silence, or threats, or guilt. The kind that chooses, and once you become that person, you don't need to chase respect. Respect starts chasing you. Like the video if you're done being everyone's solution and nobody's priority. Subscribe if you want more strategies for control, leverage, and calm power. And comment down below what boundary are you enforcing next.